This is our ecology project that we did, and the specific plot we chose was adjacent to jsrc, which was very interesting. The area that we decided to choose had a footpath and actually had 4 quadrants that were separated by the stream. Now, the characteristics of our area was the temperate deciduous forest that we had. The soil is really good because it has a layer of humus, and also we have the leaves falling in the fall, which allows for decomposition. And we also have steady rainfall throughout the year, which allows for lots of growing, lots of plants, lots of trees, which means lots of animals and plants. Um, the little yellow X indicates our approximate area that we were in within jsrc. Now, some important findings that we found in the water. We actually found the pH of the water ranged from 4 to 5, and there were no significant pH changes from stagnant to the flowing water, which was really important because it was neutral throughout the whole time. We actually found a dead crayfish, which indicates that at one point the crayfish was actually alive. We found a small fish that was unidentified, which again indicates that there was life that was able to be supported. We also found water striders, which was really interesting because we found a whole bunch of them, which indicated that there weren't a lot of fish in the area that would actually eat the water strider, because the natural predators for the water strider are actually birds and fish itself. Which was really interesting. So all of these things indicate that the pH level in the stream was actually neutral enough to hold the necessary ingredients for water life to be available. When we did a microscopic evaluation of our water, we found the licane, and the licane is really interesting because it has an awesome feeding apparatus. It has all these cilia that are moving around, and it sucks in the food, which creates this vortexy thing, and it also makes it look like there are wheels that are moving while it's eating, which is very, very cool. And so the licane was a very interesting thing that we found living in our water. Another important thing that we found were trees. They were very abundant. The most abundant we found were the ironwood, and the scientific name is as follows. They grow commonly among streams and swamps. We were right by a stream, so it makes sense that would grow in this area. The least abundant were the maple trees, and they actually grow generally in very more acidic soils, very loamy with well-drained areas, but our soil wasn't really drained very well. It was kind of a little bit swampy, not necessarily acidic, so that was something that was probably didn't bode well for the maple to be growing as much as the ironwood did. So next up we have plants. English ivy was the thing that we found the most of. It grew along trees and was found throughout the site. The poison ivy was also found a whole bunch. We also found a whole bunch of that. But the reason the English ivy grows, it kind of just grows everywhere, especially in this area. Poison ivy, don't touch it obviously. And the pokeberry plant, which was found along the streams, was very, very interesting. We found that when you eat pokeberries raw, they're poisonous to humans, but if you cook them, they're actually not that detrimental. So that was a very interesting thing that we found about the pokeberry. Most people know about poison ivy, and the English ivy was just very, very pretty, and that's an actual picture from our site. Next up, we have the animals and the insects. We actually found a squirrel nest, which indicates that probably the eastern gray squirrel lived there, because that is the most, that's the type of squirrel that lives in our area, in the temperate deciduous forest. We also found raccoon tracks, which indicate that there were raccoons, obviously, living in our area. We saw a blue jay flitting across the tops of the trees. We also heard a phoebe bird. We heard a phoebe bird call, so if you want to hear what that sounds like, you can click on the link. Very, very interesting. We also found ants, which makes sense. Ants are outside. They're very abundant. We found a lot of them.
Self-explanatory.
We also found the spiders, a few different types, but the most prominent ones were the wolf spider and the grass spider. And this pretty much is what we found in our area. There were a few other things, but this is generally what we found, and I hope that is good.